Hello friends and welcome back. So, you're thinking about going to art school? My advice? Don't. Why not? Well, ignoring the branding, the adverts, the pamphlets, art schools like multi-layer marketing, Nigerian princes, and most get-rich-quick schemes are...
It's a trap. It's too late to go back.
At the tender age of 17, students are asked to choose what they want to do for, supposedly, the rest of their lives. You want to do something that really matters to you. But let's be honest, most will barely know anything about surviving and living on your own as an adult. At that age, you are as well informed as your Googling skills. Unless you have many people around you who can show you the type of lifestyle that you would get based on the job you have, you're probably not going to be that well informed at all. So I'm here to tell you about the dark side of art school. But before I get into it, you might be thinking, who is she to be talking about this? I went to school at Tisch School of the Arts for film and television, and whilst I was studying there, I lived in New York City, and after I graduated, I continued to live in New York City for a while. In high school, I was probably one of the least expected students to go to art school. It was not an ultimatum situation where the kid goes to the parents to see the art school or no school. I loved and still love academia and studying, and it was never really my dream to go to art school. Not that I have anything against it, but just never really thought about it. It was like a parallel world to the one that I live in. But the world works in mysterious ways, and I ended up going. A story for another time. Back to the juicy stuff. First, let's talk about the value of a degree and why people get one at all. Although the value of a university bachelor's degree has stagnated, whilst costs have soared, on average it is still worth it to graduate university. College tuition in the US usually goes for around $60,000 US, so a 4-year course, which is the average in the States, would end up costing $240 US. Well, 240? I wish. $240,000 US. Yeah, a lot. Side note, for some colleges, in-state students can pay a lower in-state fee. However, despite these enormous, crazy costs, the difference that a college degree can make on your income is still material. US median annual wage for all occupations in 2020 is around $62,000 US, and within this, the median wages for occupations at the associate's degree level comes at around $46,000 US, a bachelor's degree at around $65,000 US, a master's degree around $78,000 US, and any degree above that usually comes in at around $97,000 US. Now, let's see if this applies to an arts degree. An arts degree fetches far lower, starting somewhere between $35,000 to $40,000 US, and this is using data from 2018. And the median wage is still below $45,000 US, using data from 2021. Putting this into practice, let's say you are renting for $1,000 a month. If you're in a metropolitan city, you're probably going to be sharing because $1,000 is an absolute steal. For a year, this would come to $12,000. And then you'll probably need around about $1,000 for groceries, minor entertainment, and daily travel. So in a whole year, this is putting you at $12,000 plus $12,000, which is $24,000. For now, we're going to ignore any big expenses like pricey purchases or fancy holiday travel, and also taxes, because what are taxes? You're at $24,000 per year for your expenses, and you are frugal and you manage to save up everything else. With a $35,000 salary, you can save up $11,000 the first year. Let's assume that your salary increases on average 10% per year, and this has been quite lenient given that at the moment it's probably half of that. Against all odds, let's also assume that your expenses do not change. It stays at $24,000. You'd be saving $11,000 your first year, $14,500 your second year, and $18,350 your third year. And then it would take you 9 years to save just over $240,000. More precisely, in 9 years you would get to $259,282. Another slightly sobering note is that it would take you 7.5 years to reach around about $65,000 US, which is the median wage for a bachelor's degree graduate. Now let's do the same exercise for someone starting out at $65,000, still following the same 10% lenient increase in salary per year. In 7.5 years, you'd be earning around $120,000 US, almost double the first example. If you had the same expenses as the first example, you would have actually saved up over $240,000 by your 5th year of earning. To be more precise, by your 5th year you will have saved up $276,832. That's a lot faster. Another easier way to view this money is if we're calculating your expenses to be $24,000 a year and tuition is $240,000, that will be 10 years of living without working at all. Now, it's important for me to point out that I'm not saying in any way that art school doesn't have its merits. It does. It's a very unique experience and can absolutely be beneficial, but it has to be a very well-informed decision that you make, because it's not going to be the usual investment that you make in an education and a degree in order to get the money back. Let me repeat this. If you want to get a degree in order to make more money, an art school degree is not the best way to do this. Most art jobs do not ask for a degree. Unless we're talking about teaching in some sort of education system, they really only ask for your experience, your resume, your portfolio, but rarely ever do they ask for your degree. A lot of the numbers and things that I've mentioned before are not really made clear to art school students in the beginning of their education. As adults, we may think, duh, this is so obvious. But remember, we're talking about doughy-eyed 17-year-olds who are being told to choose something they want to do for the rest of their lives. At the end of the day, the world is not as meritocratic as we'd all like it to be, and especially in the arts. Anything in the arts is very subjective. There's literally no mark scheme in most assessments. The question here is, why do people still choose to go to art school then? There are many valid reasons, which I'll cover in a bit. But first, here are some issues. If it trains hard skills, and I'm talking, technical skills like cinematography, how to operate a specific camera, then these are quite specific to the industry. And if you want to switch to something else, you'll probably need another degree or some form of education. If it trains soft skills, things like negotiating, communicating, which are all very important, but you have to wonder, is it worth the cost? For you. That's for you to know, because it's different for everyone. Most importantly though, we look at the wrong examples when we're making our decision. There is incredible survivorship bias. You only hear from the top 0.01% of its graduating alumni, which clearly doesn't give a very good picture of what happens on average. Bo Burnham puts it best.
I would say don't take advice from people like me who've gotten very lucky. We're very biased. Like Taylor Swift telling you to follow your dreams is like a lottery winner saying, liquidize your assets, buy Powerball tickets. It works. Yeah. You won't. It's
the real value of art school, I think, is its people. The community is incredible. Sure, at times it can feel like a terrible high school cafeteria filled with cliques. We're talking the hardcore Nolan fans, the documentary geeks, the ones who think that Tarantino is overrated, the odd Marvel fan, the Hitchcock and David Lynch wannabes, and the one who's actually an actor at heart and only there to befriend the future directors. You want drama, excitement, lack of sleep, and lots of caffeine? This is it. You want to meet people who will stretch and inspire you for the rest of your life as you remember how they woke you up at 3 AM to pour fake blood over you to make their horror short film last minute for the class the next day. This is the place. You want to meet people who think so far outside the box that there is no box in sight anymore. And forget about boxes, these are people who are shouting at the top of their lungs through a megaphone, standing at the foot of their wooden twin bed in their dorms, telling the people on the streets that their dreams are more real than you are, and whose strong determination, passion, and belief in themselves is something you wish you had even in your imaginations. This is the place. It's a fascinating community filled with interesting people. It really is. And I can't overstate that. You'll find kindred spirits that you can collaborate with on projects and build a very real network that will last you your entire career. Now, technically, and I'm saying very technically here, you don't need to go to school in order to build this community. But there is definitely a feeling of a club when you know that someone went to the same school as you. So yes, you don't need to go for the connections or the community. But if you don't, you need to be extremely good at networking. And I mean extremely good at it. You'll have to get on the right sites like Backstage, open castings, parties, mixers. Most importantly for film, you'll have to go on set and crew and crew and crew. It's all possible to do without going to the school, but you need to know what you're doing. Here are some things that I think they don't, but really should teach in art school. Being entrepreneurial. Most people who graduate in art school will have to be juggling lots of different types of people and projects at the same time. You'll need to know how to adapt your skills, how to network, and who you should be approaching for different things. How to be financially savvy should definitely be taught. For example, how do you do your taxes as an artist? How much you should be saving up versus how much you should spend on your craft. Because unlike a lot of other professions, a career in the arts requires a lot of spending in order to improve and keep up to date with things that are changing. And this is not just educational content, this is also equipment. Equipment updates all the time. You need to hone your craft and put money into your projects. All of this costs money, and you need to know what the fine balance is between saving and spending. At the start of art school, I think all students should be taught the value of having a balance between hard skills, like technical skills, and soft skills, and how they should choose their classes in order to have this balance, and how this will affect their employability and lifestyle moving forward. Along with this, students should be taught immediately when they start school what sorts of career paths and ladders would be available for them to climb for for when they do graduate. There may be some exit strategy classes, but a lot of the times these are optional and some students don't even know that they exist. So these should be made compulsory because you have to learn things like how to get into the corporate world, how to work as a freelancer, what is a contract job, how to maintain inspiration, and also balance out mental health while still being able to sustain the lifestyle that you want. And of course, how to live as a creative, you know, the lifestyle that people think of when they think of an artist. I think all of these should be taught, but a lot of the times they're not. I'm not sure why. And in most cases, you will have no guarantee for a job. So you definitely need to know the above very well, whilst also knowing how to adapt your skill set. Art school is not about going to school. This is very applicable for film, and it probably is for art school in general too. If you're gonna go, you have to do it right. And before you go, talk to as many alumni as you can get your hands on, because they'll be able to share their experiences and advice with you. This is the real stuff, not the stuff that you see on the brochures. Then, after knowing this experience inside and out, you can make an extremely well-informed decision as to whether an art school experience and an art school degree is something that you still want. If you or your child are thinking about going in this direction and you have questions, feel free to let me know in the comments below. And I'd also love to hear other people's experiences and tips if you're up for sharing. Thanks so much for watching, and remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next time. Bye!